Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command, World War II, World at War. It is December of 1943, it's about to be January of 1943, and we've just fought our first major carrier battle in the Floral Sea. I believe we sank one U.S. carrier and we've badly damaged two others, while also sinking several American surface warships. The Japanese surface fleet is about fought out, but it seems to me that, especially with a bombardment by an American destroyer group, that the Japanese are about to land on the island of Java, or sorry, the Americans. And so I'm going to take a bit of a risk here, and I'm going to go ahead and send this unit over here and attempt to reinforce the island. I can't quite get there, but we did discover an American headquarters unit, so I would guess I was right. I don't think I can do anything about that, though. I do have this carrier here, the Zuikaku, which can't attack any of the American carriers in the area, but we can sail it over here and try and hit the American headquarter unit, the Eisenhower. And it does look like we discovered another American transport, but we're not sure what it is. We have a second carrier with strikes left, but it can't reach anywhere. These guys, none of these other guys have strikes. None of my other ships can move. So maybe we dissuaded them from landing by putting damage on the Eisenhower. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But we'll have to see what the next turn has entailed for us. Meanwhile, we're reinforcing our position here at the southern of Italy. I did read between our last episode and this episode that Sicily and Italy are actually covered by a land bridge. So I'm going to kind of stack as many troops as I can in the box here in the south to prevent a direct land invasion, while still keeping some German troops in Rome to ensure that the Americans can't just land behind us. We actually do still have a fair amount of money left over at this point in the turn as well. So we're going to go ahead and buy some new units. Oops, not diplomacy. We're going to go ahead and buy some new units for Italy. Hopefully we get to see them in action. We can do an army, actually. So we'll go ahead and purchase an Italian army. Meanwhile, the Germans are going to go ahead and purchase some units as well. And we're going to go ahead and purchase a well-equipped German army also. And we can afford a fully well-equipped German army. So that'll be ready in 3 turns. Germany actually has some infantry that'll be coming in a turn or two in January. Then we'll have some in April. I think that's the one we just bought. Or actually, no, we have 3 units coming up in the next 4 months. One will come at the end of December after this turn. One will come in January, so 2 turns from now. And one will come in April a little bit further out, about 3 turns out from now. So essentially, we've got some substantial German infantry units that are on the way. The Japanese don't have enough to spend to really do anything. Diplomacy, we're not changing anything there. These guys more or less already made their movements. I don't think I can attack. Yeah. Can't fly any of these guys anywhere. I think all these guys have done their job. Trying to see here. We nearly took Kubernejev, but we couldn't quite take it. This tank can reinforce, so we'll do that. Fly some of these bombers a little bit closer to the front, but in an area where they can still hit Kubernejev if they get good weather. Okay. I think that about does it for our Russian situation. The one other thing I did also notice here, we've got a lot of troops still in the Baltics, but it doesn't really feel like the Russians do. So it might be an interesting opportunity if we can. These guys already attacked, didn't they? To try and move into the Baltics here, because I don't think... This guy over here. I don't think the Soviets have a ton of troops in this area. They did for a while. But recently, anyway, it seems like they've mostly pulled out. Yeah, and that seems to be borne out by the fact that we just advanced closer toward Novigrad, and there's nothing seemingly in our vicinity. Partisan-wise, I think we're okay. So yeah, I think maybe we begin softening these guys up some attacks here. Nice. Alright, so we did a little bit of damage to these paratroopers. We also took out 2 of their entrenchments, so maybe we can take the city of Parnu and then move on Tallinn and then maybe move on Leningrad here with a small force in the north. Meanwhile, these guys can't do anything against the British there. We've already moved these troops in Italy. I think we already moved the Argentine troops. We already attacked with them in any event. This headquarter unit's going to fall back just a little bit. And so is my infantry, mainly because I want to see if I can upgrade those guys. Oh, wait, they're already upgraded. I wonder if I can give them reinforcements next turn. We'll see. I think that about does it for this turn. We can reinforce the infantry at Alagela. I could pull these guys back, but it wouldn't really accomplish anything. I really need some garrison units, actually. Italy, we can afford 1. Where that's Japan. Italy can afford 1 more garrison unit, because it still has 50 left over. Japan has more troops than we know what to do with in China. I don't think any more garrisons are going to be all that much more useful there. Fly these fighters south. Oh, wait, there's 2 armored units over here? There's 1 way off to the west in China, too? It's kind of scary. Okay. Shit. Might as well just march them regular speed. And I think that's going to do it for this turn. I think we moved everything else. So we'll see what the next turn has in store. Alright, so we're going to move on to the January turn. It's actually December right now, but the Allies are going to get their turn. Germany's collecting almost 800 MPP, the income. Japan's at about 440. Italy's far less. I saw something interesting, a video the other day where someone used Italy to take Paris to see what kind of income they could generate for Italy and if they could turn Italy into a powerhouse in the game or not. It's kind of an interesting concept. What the hell? Why are they moving that way? For whatever reason, that American amphibious unit, maybe they weren't going toward Java, was moving toward the east and just collided with our carrier there and got itself destroyed. So, okay. I mean, okay. I don't really know what else to say other than thank you. That was actually the Eisenhower headquarter unit, so that was a pretty valuable unit that just got destroyed by the Americans. And headquarter units are pretty expensive too, so good to see that. We'll see how the snowfall and how the seasons shape out here in Russia this turn. That'll be kind of important, I think. Hopefully snow does not fall on our bombers, but also, even if it doesn't, hopefully it doesn't fall on their targets either. Although it is going to be January of 1944, so, you know, January in Russia. Fair bet that snow will fall. Meanwhile, American carriers are attacking... Is it the Zuikaku we moved down there? Shit. No, we lost a carrier. Damn it. And there goes our transport. Well, we lost an infantry unit at sea as well. And we lost a carrier. Not quite a midway, I wouldn't say. I mean, the bulk of our fleet is still intact, but that does hurt. Erg. Yeah. God damn it. I'm pissed off now. That carrier got destroyed pretty damn easily, too, it feels like. Meanwhile, some bombing activities going on in China here. We did move the bulk of our Air Force south to deal with the British invasion there, which seems to, I think they pulled back a little bit once we took Rangoon, I think. We just lost another Japanese unit here advancing on the capital. Again, my understanding is supply is tricky, but the problem is I don't really know what to do because we've got our headquarter unit in the nearest city, which is within 4 hexes of any of our units, and yet our units are still getting overwhelmed and destroyed. These are mainly core units, but still, that's... I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Okay, some attacks here on the Russian front. Not much going there so far. Wish the AI would think a little bit quicker. I like how it can go slow enough so I can track what's going on and when we're getting attacked and where we're getting attacked from and what the damage is, but I think there's a slider I can speed up maybe so the pause isn't so great. But it does say it's thinking down here. Thinking Combat A. I don't know what Combat A is. I'm guessing there's different combat phases that the AI works through. Because you'll see Combat A become Combat B or C or whatever. But it's not always in order. Alright, the Soviets near Tallinn are counterattacking our troops there. But that's good, because then I don't think they gain entrenchment if they attack. Meanwhile, British Special Forces units have advanced into Vietnam and driven back our garrison unit on the front there, but it does clear the way for our army near Hanoi to move in and attack them. Chinese continuing to attack here in the Rezev and Moscow region. Not doing a ton of damage, but, you know, keeping us busy. Some battling near Sevastopol. The troops cut off there, or perhaps launching a probing raid against the Hungarian or Romanian troops to their front. And the British troops cut off here in Denmark just launched an attack against that garrison unit and were bloodily repulsed without doing any damage. And so that will probably mean, I'm hoping anyway, that we can destroy them next turn. British armor still trying to reduce the lone Italian garrison at El Agela. If only the Italian army in real life had ever had any heroes like that. They're basically the desert rats right there. Light Soviet armor and some infantry counterattacking to the east of the new Soviet capital against some of our mechanized forces here. Just to remind, we're going to try and take the capital, but we're also trying to get close enough to Perm so that we've got an immediate opportunity to take the final capital. So if we can take one, maybe we can take the other capital within a turn or two, and then wrap up Russia quickly. That's the objective anyway. We'll see if that plays out that way or not. We're moving on to what I assume is sort of a reinforcement and redeployment phase. As you can see, the British have withdrawn some tanks out of China, moving them back toward Burma. The Americans, meanwhile, have moved across the land bridge between Sicily and Italy and launched their first attacks at our troops in southern Italy. You can see the Soviets have plenty of headquarters around their front line. We do, I think, have adequate headquarters on the front in the relevant spots in Russia. Not everywhere. Our headquarters can't be everywhere, unfortunately, but at least in the places where our attacks are attempting to continue. We'll have to see how careful we have to be here after losing that carrier. It's kind of frustrating. Meanwhile, American infantry troops here advancing in the south near Catanzaro. The American battleships and carriers are still engaging near the Flores Sea. That battleship just attacked some destroyers of ours. It'd be great to reduce the American fleet a little bit more. Foreign Minister reports diplomatic success in Saudi Arabia, swinging 7% toward the Allies. Last thing I need is more guys that we're going to be fighting. I'm trying to reduce the number of enemies that we have, not increase. But it is truly a world war at this point. Alright, so we lost the Zuikaku, and we also lost the 2nd Missouri SNLF force. The Japanese also lost the 5th Corps destroyed. The Americans lost the Eisenhower amphibious group destroyed. Saudi Arabia swung 7% toward the Allies, and we continue to hinder supply on Crete. Meanwhile, American amphibious ships spotted south of Australia. That's interesting. And Japan can now produce kamikazes and heavy tanks. Germany also has the 12th Army available. So we can deploy the 12th Army wherever. And while I know you guys are going to be crying for me to deploy it in the west, as a reminder, I am trying to crush the Russians. But what we will do is we will deploy these new Italian units toward the front here in Italy. We've got a heavy tank unit, which could come in handy here. And that should strengthen and slow the American advance into Italy. Although we do need a headquarters unit there for Italy. So I think we'll operate one of these guys back to this city. Should give those guys some decent supply. We just need to think through how, now that we pulled... Actually, I don't think that one was performing garrison duties. I think we're okay. Alright, I was worried about partisans, but it looks like the guy we just pulled wasn't actually in a city where partisans were a thing. So good for us. Alright. Let's see what we need to do here. Let's do some reinforcements. Alright. We're going to continue to kind of keep the Russians off guard here near Stalingrad, I think. Right. Can't reinforce those guys. The city has partisan issues, so we'll move them into the city. Maybe they can reinforce next turn. Meanwhile, the Soviet capital has snow over it. Pretty much everything has snow over it this turn. Damn. I really don't think we can take this without substantial aerial bombardment, but we'll try. We'll move the Italian tanks in there. I wonder if I can move this... Move that armor here. Okay, okay. No success there. Damn it. No, I can't move him up. Ugh. Sometimes the movement is so confusing in this game. Well, needless to say, we won't take the capital this turn. What about the city up here? There we go. Alright, so we will take this guy. Then we can advance on Perm. Question is, how much do I want to withdraw troops from the front near the actual capital toward the hypothetical capital? And I don't think I want to do too much, but I am trying to set this up for a hammer blow so that I can knock both out. These guys need reinforcements. Alright, so I think we'll leave that as is. And we'll hope that we can get this northern army group toward Perm. They're dug in, but maybe we can bomb them or something. Maybe the weather will turn. I guess we might as well move these guys between two. I just get real nervous about these guys getting attacked by actual Soviet ground troops. I also don't really know offhand what the range is. I'm sure if it was here, it could attack either. But then it would have nothing between. You know what I'm gonna do? What's the morale gonna be? Readiness. Oh wow, morale plummeted for that armored unit. The main goal was to just move it so it would be shielded so it could bomb either target in the event that the weather turned, but I didn't expect the morale to quite fall like that. Who's this guy supplying? No one? Is Rommel supplying no one? I see no... It does not... This headquarter in Moscow is supplying all of these units because they're all highlighted green. Rommel appears to be supplying no one. So I'm going to operate him east toward the Russian front. At least maybe he'll do some good over there. Or toward the important front, I guess, is the way to put it. Maybe he'll do some good over there. Drive that tank all over. Alright, slight advance on the Moscow front. Meanwhile, on the Baltic. I really need a headquarter unit here. Well, we didn't actually do anything to this paratrooper unit, except we did get rid of all of its entrenchment. So that's a positive, I guess. Anything else? I mean, we are into January, so all of the partisan units are activated on the Russian front, I believe. So not a lot occurred on the Russian front over here. We did do some movements around here. Really should upgrade them, but they can't because they're adjacent to an enemy. I'll pull these guys back. Just one hex and see if maybe next turn we can upgrade them. Meanwhile, the weather is good in this region. Nice. We took out the last Soviet infantry in the Caucasus. We did. All right. Pull him back to Rashchik. We'll see if we can get him resupplied. We're going to send some bombers south. And we're going to operate some artillery. Can we get them close enough to the front to be able to hit the Soviet capital? We'll use them up there next turn. Alright, so... Says they're not active until Tbilisi. Which is good if true. I'm not sold, though. That'll be a problem if they do rise up this next turn. Unless... Is there anyone we could rail there? I really don't like the idea of... I don't like that I'm using headquarters units as... You know what? I think we're strong enough... Where was I going to move them? Alright, I think we're strong enough that we can pull some garrison units and have them do some actual garrison duty. So let's move some units around. Actually, also, we can move these guys. Okay. Alright. That should strengthen our position in the Caucasus, and then we can drive this armor down here to deal with Iran. We'll have some air support. I don't think weather should be an issue unless it's just snow, or not snow, unless it's sand. But overall, I think that strengthened our position there. We'll move these guys down to Rome to protect the capital. These guys are just going to take the turn to R&R. These guys are already reinforced. We can upgrade this garrison to level 2 infantry weapons and 2 air defense, which probably will be important. I'm guessing we're going to have to deal with the American Air Force. Meanwhile, we've still got 400 MPPs left for Germany, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can buy an army unit here. And we can. So that purchase means we'll have something coming in April, something coming in May, something coming in January. So a good string of reinforcements coming for the Germans. The Italians just deployed some reinforcements. So the German situation is, I wouldn't say good, but it's about as good as we can expect, maybe. Doesn't look like these guys can attack in that way. So we launched 2 attacks in Rio de Janeiro, and all we did was reduce the entrenchments by 1 and give the defenders some experience. That's a fail. Meanwhile, holy shit, this is an invasion force for sure. It's going somewhere. 3 amphibious units. But we can also detect and destroy an American carrier. Although they're in rough seas right now, so we're going to use our battleships against them. Until they retreat or something. If they don't move, we can't hit them with... If these guys don't move, we can't hit them with air. Which means we've got to keep hitting them with ships. So the USS Hornet is sunk. That was good. Now, there's still a battleship in this area, too. Some of our carriers are in stormy weather also. Actually, the bulk of their landing forces, too. So we got 1. Are all these guys in storms? It looks like it. So I'm definitely not going to be able to destroy these guys because they won't move. And all of my surface vessels have moved. We destroyed 1 American unit at sea. The Los Angeles National Guard Corps and 2nd Ranger Corps are still intact. This guy's in stormy seas too. Apparently I can't use my carriers as surface ships. Alright, so we detected 2 other enemy carriers. 1 we can attack at least. A 3rd carrier. Fuck. Oh, we finished an American carrier off. Booyah! Destroyed. Nice! We got another one! We got another! also detected. Well, now if I wasn't dumb and didn't move that carrier all the way over there, there's another amphibious. Yes, we got a battleship. Wow. All right, we got a battleship. We got 2 carriers and a battleship this turn. No, 2 battleships, 2 carriers, and a badly crippled amphibious unit, a destroyed amphibious unit. It was a good turn. Seemed mediocre at the start, but good results on basis. As long as they don't start landing troops on Java, I will have no way to repel that invasion. And we'll see what they have to counterattack us with. I mean, we destroyed a huge percentage of their fleet, I think. We brought our German sub down, but he can't attack after moving, basically a forced move. Meanwhile, we're going to attack these oil wells here in Mandalay. And we'll take him. So, hit the British troops there hard. Meanwhile, these troops will pay a little bit of a price. We'll hit those special forces. Hit this Allied headquarter in China. Badly hurt their supply, hopefully, and drive them back. Meanwhile, it's snowy here in southern China. We'll use this respite to reinforce some of our units here in the south. Those partisan troops. I think we'll reinforce everybody that we can, including the air units. That'll probably eat up the majority of our income, but that's okay. These guys needed a little bit of a breather. Meanwhile, what's going on down here? Upgrade. We can add these guys mobility. Does mobility give them better supply, though? That's the question that I need to ask. Like, if I upgrade your mobility, are you more able to draw supply in shitty terrain? Because I don't know the answer to that. I assume not. Our first unit with elite reinforcements. Alright. Almost all of our money is spent. And there we go. All of our money for Japan is spent. Let's see. What did we... Like, if we look at the... The US has 55 units. Where's China at, actually? Or where's Russia at? 60? If we look at the United States as MPPs, that was a pretty rough turn for them. Over 1,000 MPPs lost. Not quite as bad as last turn. But that was a tough turn. Last turn was bad for their national morale. Russia's recovered a bit. Their morale has gone up. I think that was with the landings in Sicily. So we'll see if that makes them tougher to convince they should surrender. These German troops should reinforce. Okay. Alright, so next turn we'll finish off the Soviet troops near Batumi, and we'll see about driving on Tehran to knock Iran out of the war. If we can knock Iran out of the war, maybe we can invade North Africa from the other direction and take Baghdad, Namin, Jerusalem, and maybe retake Cairo. Although that may not be the most efficient use of our troops. I'll reinforce these subs. These guys pull back to Rome. Mainly as a shield against invasion. If they're at these ports, the Allies can't more easily invade those ports, which then prevents them from being able to draw supply, which then convinces them to go up the boot down this narrow funnel that will be very slow. That's my logic, anyway. The British troops are still here, so we will attack them. We'll also take this town. It may hurt their supply situation. So they're down to 1 supply, 1 morale. They should die next turn. Yeah. Alright. Are those all... Yeah, those are all valid partisan duties. Same over here. Just trying to see if there's any... Like, I don't want to invite an invasion by pulling troops out of France. On the flip side, I don't want to just waste money with troops just sitting there. So yeah, that's probably about it. Let's go ahead and save this turn. And then we'll see what happens next time. Hopefully next time we can both take both of these cities, or at least one or the other, and then finish Russia off in the next couple of turns. That's the hope. We may have to wait till spring. The American invasion of Europe is coming, I'm sure. We've got 3 additional armored units that should be freed up by real spring. I probably won't take Tehran next turn, but I'm hoping maybe by March Tehran will fall, and we'll have these 3 armored units freed up to either swing north and finish Russia off, or swing west and deal with the American landing there. Until next time, however, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. I guess actually you'll probably be watching this in the morning, but this is the Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.